You're not stuck in your job. You're not trapped in your relationship. You're not doomed by your past. You're imprisoned by your mind. And the bars? They're built from thoughts you didn't even choose. But you've rehearsed them so often they feel like truth now. You say you can't leave, that you don't have options. But are you sure, or have you just repeated that story for so long? It's hardened into the walls around you. Every time you tell yourself you can't, you lay another brick. Every excuse becomes cement. Every fearful thought becomes a lock on the door. And yet, there is no real jailer. Only the stories you've accepted as laws. Sartre said we are condemned to be free. And it sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But what he meant is this: you are terrifyingly, overwhelmingly free. Not free to do whatever you want without consequence, but free to choose your response to any moment. Free to reject the meanings others give you. Free to tear down the roles they carved into your identity. And to sculpt something else, painfully maybe, but honestly, you've blamed circumstances, you've blamed trauma, and yes, they matter. They shape the terrain. But the path you walk across it, that's still yours. You've been acting as if the past wrote the ending. It didn't, it wrote the prologue. You get to choose the rest of the pages. But only if you realize this. The prison was never outside you. And freedom won't come from changing your job, your city, your partner. It comes when you stop believing you are the sum of your suffering. Your anxiety is real, but it's not the final truth. It's a signal, not a sentence. Your depression is not laziness. It's a quiet scream your soul has been whispering for too long. But even then, it does not get to define the whole of you. What if you stopped seeing these as curses and started seeing them as parts of yourself that just want to be heard? That voice that tells you you're not enough. Whose voice is it really? A parent? A teacher? A failure that lingered too long? You think it's your own, but it isn't. It's an echo. And you're mistaking the echo for your own thoughts. You've been living inside inherited scripts, handed down through culture, through fear, through shame. And because you didn't write them, you never realized you could revise them. You can. That script that says you'll never make it, it wasn't written in truth. It was written in fear, and fear isn't fact, it's just a very persuasive liar. You say you need certainty before you act. But what if that need is the very thing holding you back? Life doesn't reward certainty, it rewards movement. And movement begins with belief, even fragile, trembling belief, that maybe you're not as powerless as you were told. The world will always have opinions about who you should be. It will give you labels, roles, expectations. But none of them are you. You aren't your job title. You aren't your mistakes. You aren't your trauma. You are the one watching all of it. And that witness, that still quiet awareness, is free. It's always been free. But you forgot because you started identifying with the noise. Your mind tells you stories. Some of them protect you. Others cage you. But when was the last time you questioned them? You think you have to wait for permission to start over. You don't. You think healing takes a decade. Sometimes it takes a single moment of radical honesty. You think you need to earn rest, joy, peace. You don't. You just need to stop believing you're not worthy of them. You've been loyal to your pain. But pain isn't loyalty. Pain is a message. It says something needs to change. So change, not for them, not for applause, but because the person you're pretending to be is suffocating the person you're meant to become. You won't find clarity in overthinking. You'll find it in doing, in trying, in failing forward. You've said, "I'll start tomorrow," more times than you can count. But tomorrow never comes. There's only this moment, and in this moment, you can choose something different. You can step outside the story. You can say, "No, I'm not broken. I'm becoming." You don't have to fix your entire life tonight. You just need to stop living like you're already defeated. Yes, the past was painful. Yes, they hurt you. Yes, you've made mistakes. But none of that is the full story. You're still here, still breathing, still able to choose something better. Sartre believed existence comes before essence. You weren't born with a purpose. You invent one. So what do you want yours to be? You can choose resentment, or you can choose responsibility. You can choose bitterness, or you can choose freedom. You can keep rehearsing the same thought loops, the same limiting beliefs, the same narratives that shrink you, or you can stop right now, not later, not next year, now. Look around. Nothing is holding you, except what you refuse to let go of. You've tried control. Try surrender. You've tried pleasing others. Try being honest. You've tried hiding your truth. Try living it. You think you're waiting for a sign, but what if this is it? What if the reason you're still watching this is because some small part of you already knows that you're ready? The doors were never locked. You just forgot that you had the key in your hand the whole time. You've spent years building identities around pain. You called yourself anxious. You called yourself a failure. You called yourself too much or not enough. But those were just labels, no truths. You can put them down. You can wake up tomorrow without carrying the weight of every yesterday. You don't owe your past the rest of your life. The mind will argue. It will scream for safety. It will say, don't change, it's dangerous. But danger isn't in becoming new. It's in staying stuck in an old version of yourself that no longer fits. You're afraid of letting go, because letting go means grieving who you thought you were. But grief is not the enemy. It's the door. On the other side of grief is peace. Not because everything's fixed, but because you're no longer pretending. You've tried being perfect. Try being real. You've tried disappearing. Try taking up space. You've spent so long trying to be liked. Try being free. The prison of the mind is built with comparisons. Look at them. They're happier, more successful, more loved. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Everyone is faking something. Everyone is afraid of not being enough. Even the people who seem untouchable. You're not behind. You're not late. You're not wrong for struggling. You're just human, and you're healing. And healing isn't linear. It's messy, it's quiet, it's hard, but it's possible. You don't have to climb a mountain tonight. You just need to stop digging the hole. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to stop pretending that you're powerless. Sartre said, freedom is what you do with what's been done to you. You didn't choose your pain, but you get to choose your response. That's where your power is. Not in controlling everything, but in deciding what you'll become, despite everything. You can build a new self, one choice at a time. You can leave the job. You can end the relationship. You can stop answering to guilt and shame and fear. You can write a new definition of who you are. You don't have to burn everything down. Sometimes, you just need to stop watering the parts of you that were never real. You are not the things they said about you when you were too young to know better. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are not the wound you couldn't heal back then. You are the one who's still trying. And that's more powerful than perfection ever could be. Your future is not chained to your history. Unless you refuse to see the lock, unless you refuse to pick it. Don't let your comfort zone become your coffin. Don't confuse survival with living. You're allowed to feel lost. You're allowed to feel tired, but you're not allowed to give up on yourself. Not now. Not when you've come this far. Not when you've carried this pain for so long it started feeling like home. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be brave enough to move anyway. You don't need a map. You just need to take the first honest step. You don't need more time, you need more courage. And courage? It starts here, with one deep breath, with one honest choice. Not for them, not for who you're supposed to be, but for you, for the self you buried under expectation and noise and fear, for the voice inside that whispers, I want more than this. Because there is more, and it begins when you finally stop asking for permission, when you stop waiting for the world to validate your right to grow, when you stop rehearsing the reasons why you can't and start living the truth that you can. So escape, not by running, but by remembering. Remember who you were before the world taught you to be afraid. Remember the quiet courage that got you through the worst nights. Remember the child inside you that still believes in something better. And then step out of the lie, out of the fear, out of the cell. Not someday, not later, now. Because the door is open. It always was. And on the other side of it is you, finally, truly, freely. You.